Rev up your engines! Well, people are forever asking me what's the best van out there. So today, I'm going to show a 2016 Toyota Sienna van, what it has, how it's held up. Now, for a while, manufacturers were poo-pooing minivans. Yeah, we didn't want minivans, we want to sell SUVs. Guess what? People are having more kids. Both of my sons have minivans. This is an older one. My other son has the new hybrid. A lot of people go like they did from SUVs into minivans. And what did they buy? Well, both of my sons bought Toyotas because I told them to. Not that they always listened to me, but in this case they did. There's all kinds of vans out there. There's the horrid Chrysler vans that the joke goes, why can Chrysler vans hold 7 people? It's because 6 of them get out and push them to the nearest garage or the driver steers. Well, that's not the case with Toyota minivans. The original Toyota minivan was a hit. It was 4-cylinder. It was rear-wheel drive, but they cost too much money to make because of their crazy front drive shaft that ran the AC compressor and all that. So Toyota decided to take a basic Toyota structure from a Camry and turn it into a van and use the same V6 engines that the Camrys use. And that engine indeed is under the hood of the Sienna van. It's your dependable V6 engine. Get this crap out of the way. There it is in all its glory. The modern one, no timing belt, has a timing chain. Full automatic transmission, not a CVT. And this particular one's got a little over 100,000 miles on it, doesn't burn any oil, everything runs fine. In fact, for the entire car, the only thing that's been done is front brakes and tires. And I'm trying out these tires. So far I'm real happy with them. KHMO. They've been really good tires so far. And this month I added a little refrigerant because it got a little bit low. I had to add 6 ounces. I mean, it was working, but it wasn't quite as cold in the back because it's a dual system. So I added about 6 ounces. Now it's freezing cold. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention, this window's been replaced twice. The neighbor's yard man hit a rock with his riding lawnmower. The rock flew, knocked a hole in it, and he paid for it. I put another one in. Nothing wrong with the vehicle. Can't help that people are throwing stones at it. And one time my son was mad because these power doors didn't work anymore. You can see they work now. And the reason they didn't work was because the kids are screwing around, the grandkids, and they'd push this button to turn it off. I just pushed it again and they worked. Needless to say, there was a lot of yelling about nothing after that, but hey, it didn't take me long to figure that one out. I'm like, they must hit that button. These things don't break much. And now they work perfectly fine. People love these things because they have so much room for so many people. You can still carry quite a bit, as you can see. There's a lot of junk in here. They got the 3rd row seats off. We got baseballs. We got all kinds of stuff in here. Paint's held up real well, except for this one spot right here. You can see the paint's coming off right there. Love these because, like, when we went to Chicago, they got real small parking spaces at the hotel. Well, guess what? You can get in and out real easy when you got 2 sliding side doors. Now, this is a big vehicle, so it's not great on gas mileage. This one gets 24 on the highway, and it gets like 19 in town. But if you're talking about the new hybrids, my son's 2023 Sienna hybrid, 37 miles a gallon in town and 36 on the highway. They're hybrids, so they get a little bit worse gas mileage on the highway generally than they do in the city. That's almost exactly twice what this thing gets in the city. It's a completely different vehicle in terms of its propulsion. Having a V6 engine in the front and front wheel drive like this, the newer Sienna, the hybrid 2023, 4-cylinder Atkinson cycle engine, and that's how they get such good gas mileage. Other hand, these older vans with a V6, they're front wheel drive. They got a lot of weight on the front wheels. If you have to, you can put snow tires on them. You're not going to get stuck in the snow much either. Now, this is a V6 engine, but it is a van. It goes 0 to 60 in 7.6 seconds. Let's face it, you're not taking a minivan to the drag strip. But the funny thing is, the hybrid, even though it's got the electric motor and power, it takes the same exact time. 7.7 seconds goes 0 to 60. Because, like I said, these are not drag strip queen cars. These are minivans. You're taking your family around. Both of them have plenty enough power for zooming around with your family. It does make how that makes a difference. The only thing you got to realize, V6 engine technology has been around a long time. Camrys, all kinds of vehicles, right? Pretty much bulletproof if you take care of them, and it's a much simpler technology. If you're dealing with a hybrid van, you're eventually going to have to replace the hybrid battery, which costs a lot of money. Maintenance is much more complex. The guys that do it charge a lot more money. Most people don't even touch hybrid cars. It's harder to get them fixed in the long run. Like, let's say you want to buy a van, you want to get 300,000-400,000 miles, which these things will do all the time. You're really better off with a plain one than a hybrid. But if you're going to get a newer Toyota Sienna, since 2021 in the United States, they've only offered hybrids. You don't have any choice. They're pretty well made. They hold up quite well. It's not something that has problems, just like this thing. Look, 100,000 miles, oil changes, brake job. That's only maintenance that's been done on the thing. And as we go inside, start her up. It pretty much runs the same as it did the day he bought it brand new. So, I mean, you can't really argue with these things. It's got dual AC heat control for the front. It's also got it for the back. And it's not rocket science. You can look at this stuff. You don't need to be a computer engineer to figure out how to operate this stuff. As you can see, it's got 112,989 miles on it. And the 3.5 liter V6 hooked up to the 6-speed automatic transmission is pretty much flawless. Of course, they learned from the Americans. They got cup holders all over the place. Lots of AC vents in the back. Really comfy cloth seats that have held up quite well, considering that the grandkids are always fighting in the back seat, throwing stuff around. Hey, and as you can see, this is a real car. We didn't clean it up. Actually, this is cleaned up to some extent. It's usually messier than this. We'll hook up my mid-level scan tool to it, just for kicks. So, of course, there's no DTC, so we'll go to all the systems. See, it's going through all the different systems, checking them all out. There are a lot of things to check out. Thank goodness I got these machines. For its price, I gotta say, the Sonova 5610 is a decent scan tool. Didn't find anything wrong. Well, that's pretty typical for a Toyota. Everything's zero. Oh, wait a second. Wait a second. There is one thing for the engine. Let's see what that is. Aha! The Toyota P1604 startability malfunction. You see this all the time with these modern immobilizer keys. Sometimes they don't work just right. Maybe the battery is a little bit low. It's a code that means virtually nothing for a Toyota. This car always starts up fine. It could even have been, they got extra keys here that I got free, but they don't have the immobilizers set up for this car. So if you stick them in and turn them and the car doesn't start, you get startability fault. So they'll often do that. I'll erase that now. There we go with live data. Remember, black's good, red's bad. Now the battery voltage is 13.26. It's okay. It's a little bit low, but that's because this thing is getting a little older now. It's still got the original Toyota battery, so it's probably trying to change the battery before winter comes. Long-term fuel trim, okay, 0.781. So it is running like 0.219% off. That's almost perfect. It's just adding a tiny amount of fuel. Backup camera's decent, nothing special, not the fancy top view. Just a plain old backup camera, but it still works good. First thing you notice, idle smooth as can be. Power steering still works perfectly fine. The windshield just looks bad there because my son glues his phone and stuff on there when he travels. Still got the original shocks and struts on it. Still rides decent. Like I say, not a race car. It's more like a sailing vessel when you're taking corners, but hey, it's not really over or under steering. You just realize you're driving a van around. High up in the air, you don't get stuck in the snow, but not too high where you get a crappy ride. It's got a nice ride. We're in suburbia, I guess. We're in the perfect suburban minivan. And it's not slow with this V6 engine. It's a tad under 300 horsepower, so it's not bad, but of course it's not a race car. Both this and its replacement, you can only get the hybrid Sienna van now. Takes them quite some time to go 0 to 60. You'll see. Nobody's behind us. We'll step on the gas in. Hey, it started to do a little peel out before the traction control. Still shifts fine. I mean, it's plenty fast enough. It's a van for getting around. I'm surprised that it did the peel out that quickly before the traction control took over. Now, you won't be taking this minivan into the cornfields, and even with the all-wheel drive one, I don't advise it either, because the all-wheel drive one's even lower than this to get better gas mileage. But this is really about as close to the perfect minivan as you can get. Nothing's broken in all those miles. Still gets the same gas mileage, still shifts good. You know, the only thing we've replaced are tires and brake pads and the engine oil and filter. It used to smell because the cabin air filter was so dirty, they didn't do anything with it. I recently changed it in the video, and now it smells much sweeter. So don't forget the cabin air filter. So we'll turn around, and really for a minivan, it's not a bad turning radius. I mean, it's not a sports car, but it didn't have any problem turning around. They're pretty mobile. You just have to realize how long it is, and don't back into it like some suburban housewives have been known to do. Names not mentioned to protect the guilty. Does that come to it? You bring the whole family with you, and they don't break down. So there you have it, the Toyota Sienna minivan. Now you know all about them. Why they sell so many of them. Why they cost so much money. Because they can last so long, and people know they can last so long. The most I've ever seen on these was like 450,000 miles. I'm sure there's plenty of them with more than that mileage on them, and they were still running down the road, so it just shows you these things were made to last. They cost more, but in the long run, if you drive the thing for hundreds of thousands of miles and decades, you're getting your money's worth. These aren't Chrysler minivan endless money pit machines. These aren't Ford vans that fall apart when they get aged, burn oil, the transmissions go out. They're really well built. Since 2021, you can only get hybrids with these, but hey, they've held up so far. My son's held up quite well. He didn't have any problems with it, and the ones that I see, they don't have any problems either. A lot higher technology, though, than these older ones that were much simpler. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.